Today I want to speak about 3 entrepreneurial projects that I've started and terminated and what I've learned from each one of them. It's funny because some of them I'm still very passionate about and I'm still convinced that we could have made something out of them. But yeah, back then I didn't think the same, so I ended up terminating it. So let's start with the first one. It's actually a Portuguese name. It's called Mãos Largas. That if I translate it literally, it means large hands. But this is basically how we call to someone that likes to give and to help people. This was actually the first website I built without actually knowing how to build a website. I think it was in my first year in college and I was still learning how to code, and my course was actually electric engineer and computer, so I didn't have that many classes in actually building website, HTML, CSS and so on, and I had no idea how to build it. So I basically learned on YouTube and on Google, and I started figuring out how to build a website. And it's now, if I don't even have the code, or maybe I do actually, I don't know, I have to check it, but it's terrible, but it was such a great way to learn. And this is actually where my passion for website building came to be. The idea of this website is, let's imagine that you sell bread, right? You have a bakery and you sell bread, but it's very hard for you to get new customers. So you would go to this website and advertise your bakery and give, let's say, a 10% commission if someone would sell your bread. And then me as a user, I could just go there and say, okay, I want to sell this bread, and I would just sell it to my friends and get these percentages. That would be the idea. And I remember that I was actually emailing a bunch of companies, and I even got a few that were interested in advertising their product, and everything was manual. There was no like forms to insert your products or whatever. They would like email me, and I was like, okay, now I will add it manually in static HTML to the website. And it was the first website. I did the logo, I did everything, and it was super fun. I'm not sure if this actually is a good idea now, but one thing that I learned a lot from there was how to build the first websites. I learned PHP there. It was the first time I was actually coding in PHP, and this was actually the project that took me through this path of web development. And I think it's mostly because of this project that I nailed my first gig at Trivago. Definitely, I learned so much from this project. It was amazing. The second project was more towards the end of college, and I absolutely loved this idea. I called it Pin Stage. We started with a different name. It was called Find Out Music. And we started actually in an entrepreneurship class that we had in our college. So it was me and a couple of friends, and we made like a group, and we were working on this idea. And the idea was the following. There are so many great musicians and artists in Lisbon, and there's so many people interested in seeing them and having fun, but there's no platform that connects those two. So the idea would be that you could register as a musician or as an artist, and you could say, I'll be in the street performing from, let's say, 6 to 8 p.m. on a Sunday. And then it would pop up in the map. You could see this pin, and as a user you could see, oh great, there's someone playing just next to my house. I will go there and have fun. And I don't know, I love this idea. Maybe I will even revisit this idea in the future because it's so great, you know. It's great for everyone. It's great for the musicians, it's great for the arts, it's great for the people. And I also even introduced the venue. So if you have a venue, you could actually connect yourself with an artist, and that venue would pop up in the map, and you know that there's artists who will be playing in this venue. So again, this website was already more developed. It was not static HTML. I built it with PHP, and you could actually insert everything. I think I even worked with João Amaro. I've been working with him in the designing for so long. I helped him with his projects. He helped me with mine, and we did a super nice design. And in the end, what I noticed was that it was super hard because it's the chicken and the egg problem, right? You need to have people visiting your website to get musicians interested, but you need musicians interested to get people interested. So I felt back then that I didn't know how to scale that up. Maybe now I would find a way to do so. So I don't know. I think it could be a great idea. And I'm so in love because I love music. I love, being out with my friends. And the fact that you can just connect both of them, man, I'm just getting excited just by talking about it. So maybe in the future I'll be revisiting this. Maybe I still have the code. Back then I was not even using Git. I learned Git actually when I came to Trivago. That was very embarrassing. They were like, yeah, you know Git? It's like, no. I think I was just, saving my projects in Google Cloud or something or Dropbox back then. Crazy. But let me know if you like this idea as well, because would you use it? Would you use it? Tell me, because I maybe I'll revisit this in the future. And the third idea that I want to talk about that I also terminated, I actually started already here in Germany when I was still at Trivago, and the name was called Find a Bike. And the problem was that there were so many sharing bike systems here in where I live in Düsseldorf. So there was Nextbike, there was Mobike, there was Ford Pass bike, so many different kinds of bicycles. So those bicycles that you have an app, you can unlock them and then ride them and then leave them anywhere. And if you, for instance, would travel to Berlin, there will be other brands. And if you travel to Lisbon, there will be other brands. And it was very hard to find. You always had to install many apps and then check in one app, check in the other app. So there's a real problem here. So what I did was, okay, let's aggregate everything in one single map so that people could just open one app and check it out. This is the first app that I built. And back then I built with a friend of my flatmate back then, Avi. And we built it, I think, in Java. And yeah, it was working fine. I was doing the crawling and the back end. He was doing the front end. And it worked fine. And it didn't scale. I don't know why. I think a lot of people are saying that, yeah, because they still have to open the app, right? So you could only use this product to find the bicycle. Then you had to click and then open that app or install it. So you are not solving the problem of having many apps because you still had them. You're just solving the problem of finding all of these bicycles. And I found it useful. But again, I didn't know how to scale it. So I learned from the previous project, the pin stage, because in this case, you could have the content and already bring, even if you only had one user, you could already bring value to them. Because as long as you have the content, as long as you have the bicycles, you could already bring value. So I solved that problem then, but I couldn't get users. I don't know. Back then, I also didn't know Reddit. Maybe now it would be different. And maybe, again, a project that I might revisit. I might just get the code and revisit in the future. Yeah, why not? But back then, I just lost the motivation. I didn't know how to scale it. And I ended up terminating the project because of that. But also, again, with João Maru, he made such a great logo. It's like a dog riding a bicycle. The logo is great. I will actually share this logo in the description of the episode for members in my Buy Me a Coffee platform, so you can go and check it out. And I'll actually try to see if I can find any print screens of these old websites, and I will put everything there so that you can go and check it out. Some of them are pretty lame. Some of them I'm quite happy with the result. But yeah, those were the 3 projects that I started and terminated. And which one would you bet your money? I think that's the question. So let me know, which project would you bet your money on? Where did you invest your money? And yeah, this was another Wannabe Entrepreneur. See you tomorrow.